Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk a little bit about how documentation works in relation to 8base, and specifically go over the two types of documentation we have. One is the hosted docs at docs.8base.com, where you're going to find a lot of information about different platform knowledge that you might want. And the other is the API Explorer, which is where you can find the Documentation Explorer, which is a great way to really get insightful about your different types of tables and kind of how all the GraphQL stuff works on 8base. So let's jump in and take a look. Okay, so first off, right now I am on docs.8base.com, which is where our hosted docs are. Really, this is a great resource to find out or figure out any platform knowledge, as well as things like how to deploy serverless functions or do roles and authorization or any type of permissioning. Essentially, like I said, any platform knowledge or how to develop with 8base information is here. That said, we are constantly trying to improve our documentation, and it's far from perfect. So if you see anything that you think could be better explained or you think something's missing, please shoot over to Contribute, which is our GitHub page for our GitHub repo for the documentation. It's open source, so if you want to start contributing to this, we would be absolutely thrilled. However, if you just want to create an issue on something that isn't working or something that you think could be better explained, feel free to do that, and we will get to it as soon as we can and make sure that that gets updated and clarified for you. All right, so the second type of documentation I want to go over is the Documentation Explorer. And this is a really cool feature and something that I personally find extremely valuable. As you might already know, one thing that 8base does is it auto-generates and manages a number of different GraphQL schemas for you based on the data tables that you create in 8base. Essentially, any type of CRUD action that you want to do or perform, create, read, update, or delete, is something that we handle and manage for you, so it makes development super fast. At the same time, though, of course, it's fully extensible, so you can create your own or go far beyond that for any type of spec that you want to implement. And so, for example, in this workspace that I have a table called brokers. And so a example of a type of query that 8base manages for me is a brokers list. And so in this example, you can see that I kind of had a little query down here that says, well, if a broker's nickname equals Steve, I want his ID and nickname. Well, if I run that, it's right there. However, let's say that I didn't know what that query looked like or the arguments that were passed to it. I could go right over here, the Documentation Explorer, click on Query, look up Broker. I can see the broker here and the brokers list. Click on the brokers list, and here's all the different types of arguments right in the documentation on how to use them. So for example, I could filter, I could order, I could sort, skip, before and after, different types of stuff for pagination. It's all right here, explaining to me all the different types then that I can use in it. And so really quick and effective way right in the workspace to figure out how to use the API Explorer and build some really powerful queries, mutations, or subscriptions. One important thing to mention on this as well is it's a great way for your team to keep up with information or documentation about the different things you're building. And what do I mean by that? So if I were to jump over to my data builder and I was on the brokers table, here, click on nickname, and you can see that there was this nickname field, and the description was, this is the broker's actual name. Well, that's not necessarily true, it's their nickname. So I'm just gonna change the description to, this is the broker's nickname. I'm gonna save that. And then as soon as I jump back into the API Explorer, I go to Query, and I go to Broker, and I open the broker, and I look at the type, I can see that here the nickname has the new and updated description. So like I say, that was just a kind of a simple, funny example. However, that goes for tables, that goes for argument types. And so really while you're building, especially on teams, you can keep the most relevant and up-to-date information right here in the management console on the data tables that you're working with or their fields, and make sure that everyone always has the most up-to-date and relevant information. That's it. I hope that you found this video valuable. If you want to subscribe to future updates, please subscribe to the channel, and looking forward to seeing you in one of the next videos. Take care.